Have you ever been in a situation where two people are ready to explode? Anger on one side, stubbornness on the other, and you're standing in the middle, knowing that if someone doesn't step in, everything could fall apart. That's where we meet Abigail in 1 Samuel 25. Her story is short, just one chapter in the Bible, but its impact is timeless. It's a story about wisdom in the heat of conflict, about courage when fear could have kept her silent, and about how one person's voice can stop disaster in its tracks. Today, let's walk into Abigail's world, relive her story, and uncover the lessons it has for us in the middle of our own battles. The land of Israel was unsettled in those days. Saul was still king, but David, the shepherd boy who defeated Goliath, was on the rise. People whispered about him. Some even saw him as the king God had chosen. But until that day came, David and his loyal band of men wandered from place to place, surviving off the land, avoiding Saul's wrath, and protecting villages and shepherds. Living in the same region was a rich man named Nabal. Scripture describes him bluntly: harsh, arrogant, and mean in his dealings. He was a wealthy man, owning thousands of sheep and goats. But while he had riches, he had no sense. His very name, Nabal, means fool. His wife, Abigail, was the opposite. Scripture calls her both beautiful and intelligent. Imagine her, a woman of quiet strength, with wisdom that could diffuse tension, a voice that carried both gentleness and authority. She was married to a man who often brought embarrassment and shame, yet she managed her household with grace. One season, David's men had been camped near Nabal's shepherds. Instead of taking advantage, they had protected them. Thieves roamed, but not a single sheep went missing. Not one servant was harmed. It was a relationship of unspoken loyalty. David's men acted like a wall of protection around Nabal's workers. So when sheep shearing time came, a season of feasting and generosity, David sent a respectful message. He told his men to greet Nabal warmly, telling him of their kindness and asking if he would share provisions with them. It was a fair request. In that culture, generosity during sheep shearing was expected. But Nabal exploded with arrogance. He sneered, "Who is David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are breaking away from their masters these days. Why should I give my bread and meat to men who come from who knows where?" The words dripped with contempt. It wasn't just a refusal, it was an insult, a slap in the face. When David heard this, something inside him snapped. He told his men, "Each of you strap on your sword." 400 men armed themselves. David himself swore, "May God deal with me severely if by morning one male in Nabal's household is left alive." It was about to be a massacre, but God had placed someone in Nabal's household who was not blind to the danger. One of the servants ran to Abigail. Breathless, he explained, "David's men were good to us in the fields. They were like a wall of protection, guarding us from thieves. Yet our master hurled insults at them. Disaster is hanging over this household. Please, see what you can do." Abigail's heart raced. She could have frozen in fear. She could have told herself it wasn't her problem. But she understood something powerful. Silence in the face of conflict can be deadly. She acted quickly. Scripture says she gathered 200 loaves of bread, skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, roasted grain, raisins, and figs. She loaded them on donkeys and set out to meet David, without telling her husband. Imagine her riding toward an army of angry men, knowing one wrong word could cost her life. Yet she chose courage over comfort, wisdom over fear. The sun beat down. Dust rose as David and his warriors stormed forward, swords glinting, eyes blazing with fury. Then suddenly, there she was, a lone woman on a donkey. Abigail dismounted quickly and bowed low before David. This wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. She showed honor, lowering the tension before it even escalated. Her words flowed with humility and discernment. "My lord, let the blame fall on me. Please pay no attention to that wicked man Nabal. He is just like his name, fool. As for me, your servant, I did not see the men you sent. Please forgive us." But she didn't stop there. She reminded David of his calling. "The Lord will certainly make a lasting dynasty for you, because you fight the Lord's battles. When the Lord has fulfilled for you every good thing he promised, my Lord will not want to have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed." What wisdom! What courage, David thought. She didn't just beg for mercy. She spoke of his destiny. She pulled his eyes off the insult and back onto the bigger picture. David stopped. Her words pierced through his anger. The sword that had been ready for vengeance lowered. "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me," he said. "May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed." The fury that had consumed him was gone. In its place was gratitude. Gratitude for Abigail's wisdom. Gratitude that God had sent her to intercept his anger. Gratitude that his conscience was spared from a terrible mistake. Abigail returned home to find Nabal drunk from feasting. She waited until morning, when he was sober, to tell him what had happened. When she did, his heart failed him. 10 days later, the Lord struck him down. Hearing of his death, David sent for Abigail, asking her to become his wife. But even before she became David's bride, she had already stepped into history as a woman of wisdom, courage, and influence. So, what does Abigail's story teach us in our world today? First, we see that conflict is inevitable, but chaos is not. We live in a time where insults fly fast, online, at work, in families. Like David, we may feel justified in striking back. Like Nabal, we may respond with arrogance. But Abigail shows us a third way, the way of wisdom. Next, peacemaking takes courage. It's not easy to step into the middle of anger. It's not comfortable to speak up when silence would be safer. But true courage is not the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. Then we must realize that humility disarms anger. Abigail didn't try to win an argument. She bowed low, took responsibility, and spoke gently. Her humility didn't make her weak. It made her powerful. In a culture obsessed with being right, humility has the strength to transform hearts. Finally, we see that sometimes it only takes one person to change everything. You may feel small, unnoticed, or powerless in your family, your workplace, or your community. But Abigail reminds us, one voice of wisdom can prevent disaster. One person's courage can save lives. One choice to pursue peace can ripple into eternity. As our story ends, we are reminded that the next time conflict rises and anger boils, remember Abigail. Remember the woman who stood between wrath and foolishness, and with courage, humility, and wisdom, turned disaster into peace. Her story calls us to rise above ego, to choose the higher road, and to let our words and actions reflect the wisdom of God. Because sometimes all it takes is one Abigail to change everything. If this message has blessed you, please help us reach more souls. Like this video so others may be drawn to the light of God's truth. Share it with friends, family, and anyone who needs encouragement today. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. Your support helps us touch lives, build faith, and glorify God. May God bless you richly and keep you in His perfect peace.